Hi everyone, I am going to talk about vitamin D building protein deficiency and homozygous deletion the of the GC gene. Definition. Vitamin D is produced by homozygous conversion the hydrocholesterol to vitamin D3 in the skin, or is the accurate toward the diet of either a V3, which is called calciferol, or ergocalciferol. Vitamina D2, sorry, after staying wise hydrolation in the liver and the kinase, the activate calcitriol metabolic and participate in calcium and photostates homeostasis. Application in medicine. This article centered around a case of the homozygous deletion of the encoding gene for vitamin D building protein in a woman and the level comparison of VD related with her side. The level of both building protein and vitamin D metabolics were indetectable in common tests, while almost normal in the Sabin, supporting the free hormone hypothesis, resulting in the having osteopenia and fragility by not rigid or osteomalacia, also supporting the theory of the local activation of the cholecalciferol in the parenchyma or intercrene manner. Now, the video.
So I want to talk about this incredible vitamin K2, okay? I have other videos on this, but this is some additional data. Now, vitamin K1 has everything to do with coagulating proteins, basically binding proteins and helping forming clots, okay? Stopping bleeding. It's very, very important. It's also involved in bone formation, and it's recycled, okay? So your body usually is not very deficient in vitamin K1. It's in leafy greens. K2, on the other hand, is very different. A lot of people are deficient in it. It's not recycled very readily, and it basically binds calcium in the bone, and it also helps transport calcium out of the soft tissues. So it takes calcium from the places it shouldn't be, and it puts it in the places it should be. But it's also involved in your metabolism, as far as the mitochondria, in turning that food into energy. So let's say, for example, you exercise and you last a certain time period, you kind of like run out of gas or you don't have the endurance. K2 can help you go longer. It can increase your cardiac output. I've noticed this when I have this huge hill at my house. It's gigantic, right? And for quite a long time, and
Okay, pros and cons. The pros, the study brings us with their understanding of the vitamin D, its metabolics, and the roles of the building proteins to some molecules. Cons, as always, for more research is needed, but the case is an extremely rare one, and the replication toward mice in vitro have shown different results.
hello.
I'm Angus Dalgleish. I'm a professor of oncology at the University of London, based at St George's, and I'm here to tell you about some of the alternative treatments we've developed by the funding of the charity ICBI. For years, we've been aware of the importance of the immune system in cancer patients, and this has led us to try to do everything we can to optimize it. One of the most important things is vitamin D3. It has been known for years to be very important for the management of infectious diseases like tuberculosis, but we are now finding this is exactly the same in patients with cancer, particularly with melanoma. In a very large national study, they were surprised, if not amazed, to see that the depth of the tumour, the number of lymph nodes involved, and the level of vitamin D3, which is measured in the blood, correlated with how well you did, whatever excellent treatment that you had. So therefore, we've been looking at our patients and find that 80% are low, 30% are very low. So the first thing we do is correct the vitamin D3 level with supplements and bring that up to the normal level. And we then find the patients do so much better. They respond better to chemotherapy and immunotherapy. And this is probably all down to the fact vitamin D3 is absolutely vital for killer T cells to seek out and kill tumor cells. So if it is low, however well you induce an immune response to a vaccine or an antigen, it is not going to work in the absence of vitamin D3. I would just like to point out that without the support of the charity ICBI, I would never have had the freedom to embrace so many different approaches to cancer and have the effect and benefit in the clinical trials that we have had to date. And I must express my eternal gratitude for all the support that the ICBI has given me and my team.
Insult applied in Ecuador. This specific kind of case is very rare and hard to find data about it in our country. Otherwise, the vitamin D deficiency is a more studied condition. Some studies declare that around the globe, the prevalence of this amazing high, reaching 50 to 80%, and in Ecuador is no difference. Exciting study that exposed rates of 70% in some population. Conclusion: vitamin D is an essential molecule with many tissue functionals due to the action in calcium and potassium metabolics, but as among molecules, its formation or distribution depends on proteins such as the BD beans protein, so the deletion of the encoding genes of the protein, even if rare, style found and described describes BD levels to undetectable, and cause may be non-directly related, but chronic and painful diseases such as osteopenia, fragility, inflammation, and autoimmune problems.
Vitamin D is an interesting question for runners and for athletes. We're learning more about vitamin D. We used to think it was just the vitamin in your food. Now we recognize it has a big role in bone health. It may have a big role in preventing infection. It has a role in neurologic development and actually prevention of Alzheimer's disease.
For determining adequate amounts of vitamin D, there's still a lot of debate in the field. So for the average adult, they consider normal to be above or sufficient to be above 30 nanograms per milliliter. But in athletes, they're thinking it's going to be maybe a little bit higher. They're even looking for above 40. There's still a lot of debate in the field as to what's adequate and what's not, and whether athletes need to have these higher levels to sustain and maximize their performance.
Thank you, everyone. See you till next time.